This is a bit of an unusual one for me. For a while, I've been sort of tinkering with the idea of getting one of those fancy electronic screwdrivers, basically by the same company who makes the TS100 soldering iron. So you know the type, it's got a processor in it and a digital screen and all the rest of it. And I was basically researching the two different types of screwdriver or driver that company made, to see what the difference was, which amounted to the amount of torque versus the amount of speed. And I stumbled across this guy. I kind of thought, you know what, I'm gonna get this one instead. So I asked Banggood if they would send me one, and thankfully they said yes. And I started to open this the other day in the living room on a Saturday morning with my missus sat next to me, and she was more interested than in any other review I've ever done, regardless of what I was receiving. And the reason for that is, if you like packaging, this thing is like packaging porn. I feel like my northern twang is the wrong sort of voice to be doing this video, because this is seriously beautiful packaging. So as you can see, everything, and I've probably messed mine up already by putting it back in the wrong places, everything comes in this amazing packaging, and it is truly stunning. So if we look at what you get, so this is basically the Wowstick 1F, and this is the rechargeable battery version. So what have we got here? That feels like it might be a magnetic pad, and on the back got the different sizes, and on the front obviously we've got these 1 centimetre squares, and then everything else comes in these little beautifully labelled parts, which I can barely even get into. So if I just try and get it out, so you'll notice that each one comes labelled. So basically, I'm a base, I'm a bits group with X1, I'm a dual barrel screwdriver, I'm a bits group X2, I'm a bits group X3, I'm a case, and we've got a final one, I'm a toolbox. Now I have to say, my missus absolutely wanted this, even though she had no idea what it was, just because of the packaging. So rather than buying your missus or your girlfriend or your mum or whatever some perfume for Christmas, maybe just get her some packaging, because it certainly worked for mine. So if I just open this up and let's see what all this stuff is. I really want to do this without damaging it, but I've got the touch of a thug. Right, so we've got that. We've got a little toolbox by the looks of it. Or have we? Got no idea actually what that is. Ah, lots of different bits of stuff. So we have a tiny little jar. It's got screws in it. Super cute actually. We've got a USB micro charger, have what looks like a little keyring with a suction pad on it, a magnetized, don't know what that is, some sort of magnet, is it? Not really sure, whatever that is. And then we have the screwdriver. So basically this feels like aluminium, and as you can see, it's a beautiful thing. How cool is that? So we've got a USB port on one side. Alright, let's have a look what else we get. Ooh, that's nice. So we've got bits on this side, a ton of them. And these will be the same. More bits. So we've obviously got screwdriver bits, hex bits. Again, even more bits. Tons of different types actually. There's so many boxes, I'm struggling to remember which ones I've opened and which ones I haven't. I think that's it. And then we've got this one, which is a base. Oh no, I'm not. I was going to say I'm going to have to rip it. So that is a really chunky, heavy base for your screwdriver. Right, so I've been playing around for a few minutes. Not really sure what that is, apart from the world's cutest little jar. And you get basically a gazillion different types of head. So we've got hex heads, flat heads, star heads, Torx screws, everything that you need. For a minute I was kind of worried that there were no hex heads, but there is. So that's a 2mm one. And you get basically this case, which you can essentially put one of these guys in. He says. You can essentially put one of these guys in and the screwdriver, and then it's basically magnetic. Just snaps into place, so you can put it in your bag and easily take it away. And again, the actual, this guy is magnetic as well. So it's basically just used to hold your bits when you're not using them. Yeah, you can't put them on like that. So yeah, just kind of keeps your bits handy from rolling around. Right, so now I've put a little bit of charge in it. Let's see how good it is. If I just get one of these. Happy days, it works! That isn't bad at all. I mean, it's not the most powerful thing in the world. So that's... I mean, you can certainly tighten it up a little bit by hand, but I don't mind that so much. Let's try it on this guy. So it's getting these bolts out relatively easy, and these should be pretty tight. Struggle to get that one in. But is that my crappy bolts? Let's try another one. So I needed to give that one a little tiny snap. And then, because it locks after you let go, you can just give it a final little tug. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, for the size of the thing that it is, seems to have a fair amount of torque. Clearly you're not going to be using it for sort of, you know, super tightening big heavy bolts. This is sort of more for more sort of smallish jobs, but for being lazy with quadcopters, which is what I'm pretty much about, I think for 25 quid it's a little decent tool. I hope it lasts, because if it does, it's going to really sort of change the way that I go about things. Instead of needing, as I said, a million different drivers, I can just use this guy with the usual hex bits that we tend to need in this hobby, and as I said, a couple of star and flathead drivers. So yeah, and it also means I won't have to tighten these guys up every 5 seconds. So yeah, pretty chuffed with that. I've always wanted one of these guys. I didn't want anything too sort of fancy or super expensive. Not that I paid for this anyway, but I've never used any of the fancy features on the soldering iron with its processor, etc. So I just wanted this guy to be simple. So yeah, there you go. The Wowstick. This is the lithium ion version. Comes with a ton of stuff. Not even really sure what they're for, to be honest with you. Can't see anywhere that you would use them. And just charges via USB, which of course you'll already have on your power bank or field charger, etc. Cheers guys, thanks, bye bye.